What's up, friends? It's another episode of the Mindful CEO. It's Chris Angel and Aaron Hennon coming at you. Hello, Aaron, sir.
What's up, my brother?
Let's just jump straight in, shall we? You're in
Straight
the middle
in,
of.
as opposed to normally where we have about an hour and a half of dialogue before we start.
Hi. Sometimes we bring
Sometimes we
people
do.
into something already in motion. Which is, by the way, is this your 1,000 tacos week?
This is a
Is this
thousand taco week.
this is the week you're making 1,000 tacos for
This is
some
this is the week.
event or party?
Exactly right. A thousand tacos on board, which is why I wanted to get this recorded earlier so that I can go. I have been prepping food all week, smoking meats and then slow cooking them and getting them all ready to
Ugh,
go. And
wish I was there.
I will see how many, see how close to a thousand my math turns out to be. So hard to
You're
tell.
gonna have leftover tacos for a year.
I don't think that's the case. It might
No.
be the case, but we'll see. But the great thing about tacos, or Mexican food in general, is it's a taco, it's an enchilada, it's a burrito. It doesn't matter. It's
Yeah,
huevos. It's all the same.
yeah.
Different
Versatile.
flour. Tortillas, meat, beans.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Well, watch this segue. I have a segue for us here. So, I
Okay.
mean, I think the idea of, we could do an event, 1,000 tacos. There's a little bit of an energy behind like, oh my God, like, wow, that would really take something for me to pull that
Yes.
off. And then comes food prep for a week, like just this crock pot, that crock pot, the mundaneosity, I think you called it,
A Medanitude.
mundanitude of got to make the
Yeah.
donuts, got to smoke the meat. Shit, how long? Like, it's been 6 hours. How much longer do I have to smoke this meat? Like, a watched pot never boils. There is just some boringness that happens with the work
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah. Well, that's, I mean, the topic we were talking about, that is a good segue. Very well done.
Thank
Um,
you.
it's the craving for a thrill. I haven't been struck by inspiration recently, like the inspiration to write. It's been like, I don't really feel
Hmm.
it,
Yeah.
like it's not called to me. And I know there is a definite school of thought where, you write every day, whether you're called to it or not, and you
Right.
do whatever it is you're going to practice. And, you practice free throws, whether you feel like
Yeah.
it or not, right? If you're out to
Yeah.
master that, you practice that. And I was just, just looking at that space of the main mundanosity of success of
Yeah.
the that it see, this is good, Chris, because I was gonna say it's a grind,
Right.
and we've been really sort of looking at this is where this came up, because we've been looking at the possibility of life beyond the grind,
Right. Right.
right? Like, what's it like when you're not in the grind? What grind harder? But I think there's now we're coming up on nuances on what a grind is too.
Yeah. Yeah, it just makes me laugh because I just think, we in the grind, we think, God, I could just use some space and some peace and quiet. And then we get to peace and quiet. And we're like, God, my life is so boring. I just want to get back in the grind. And we just toggle back and forth
Yeah, I
between
mean, I
our,
think to a
yeah,
large part, I picked this project of this taco booth because it would be exciting. It would be like a new thing. It'd be like fun.
yeah,
It'd be like this thing I could wrap my head around and dive into,
yeah,
and it has been. I mean, it's and I but then that's the kind of thing that sometimes people are like, oh, I should do this as a job. I should make
uh,
this my career, and then it
mm,
becomes it's not for a short time. So
right,
going distinguish the catching fire thing, because that's really where this sort
right,
of
right.
came.
Well, so just in case you guys missed it, like, so Aaron had said before in the green room, it was like, man, I need a breakthrough. I feel like I haven't had a breakthrough in a while. And I said, well, what's a breakthrough? Does it have to have a feeling attached to it? Or like, how do you know you haven't had one? And it made me think of the book. There's a book called Stealing Fire. Came out, I don't know, 5 to 10 years ago. And it was really looking at flow states versus what often people will do in extreme sports, which is try stealing fire is basically a reference back to some, story. I can't remember what it is about trying to steal fire from the gods in order to feel invincible or feel, godly or godly, whatever. And so people will go down if you're an extreme sport person, you'll keep base jumping off of bigger and bigger rocks. And but then it doesn't the rock you just jumped off of doesn't give you the rush because you've done it so many times that you're like, well, I didn't in the context of our conversation, I didn't have a breakthrough. That didn't do it for me. I just did this amazing thing, but who cares? That was really boring. And so you keep pushing yourself to more extremes in order to get that rush to steal fire from the gods. And it really, when we look at that with CEO-ness, the mindfulness and the CEO-ness, what happens, I think, in business is we can often, like, success is boring. Gary Keller said that. 10,000 Hours Outliers has said that. Malcolm Gladwell. There's just boringness, and it gets so mundane that we're like, I need a fix. I need some
Right.
excitement up in here because I hate my life right now. Is success really worth
It's
it?
good, Chris, because God, there's so many pieces of this that get wrapped together. So one is I
Yeah.
definitely had the experience of fucking things up
Mm.
because doing it over and over the same way is boring.
Yeah.
So I'm going to
Yeah.
tinker with this or change this or do this. This thing is working. I know this works, but I can't deal with the mundaneosity of the situation. And
Yeah.
I'm going to, make up the word mundaneosity because mundane is too mundane.
That's too mundane.
Too mundane. I need an exciting
Yeah.
word in
That
there.
was, I got a jolt just then. That word really gives it to me.
Yeah, totally. So, but I am sure there are people listening to this. Well, if there are people listening to this, I am sure some of them have, the experience of just fucking things up,
Yeah.
that boring is boring. And we
Yeah.
have, there's, boring is boring. What else are you going to say? But then there's that level of I'm unwilling to be successful or I'm unwilling to do what it takes to be successful, which is fundamentally at the
Yeah.
heart of it, some repetitive set of actions that work. Tom Brady's life was extraordinarily boring for many, many, it's not boring now, but
Mm.
the achievement of that level of success. I just go back to sports people, but really anybody.
Sure.
Sports people are most public, easily
Yeah.
pointable because it's a little bit more of a meritocracy than anything else that we can point to.
Sure.
Where someone, if they put in the 10,000 hours, can excel. So there's that level of grind, and then the whole banner of our show and of our lives is lose the grind,
Right.
you know
Right.
but
Yeah.
we have hustle and grind together, which is
Oh, right.
interesting
Yeah.
when
Right.
really those are really that's interesting that we have hustle and grind together. I think there's
Yeah.
nuances to the word grind there because there's the kind of grind where you're doing the same thing over and over and over, and it becomes a grind because it's just the same thing over and over and over.
It's boring. Yeah.
It's boring. And then there's a grind but even then, that's the same grind because then you're going to put your head down and you're going to do the boring work, which, when I was at the meditation retreat, it was fucking a grind. I'll tell you, it was a grind. It was like, okay, again with the meditation, right? Like
Right.
it was,
Uh-huh.
the life of a monk is a grind. It's just,
That's interesting. Yeah. That's really interesting.
it was a grind. It
Huh.
was like, this is a grind. And that aversion
Mm. Mm.
is as much something to, complete as the craving for excitement is there to complete or to be with,
Yeah.
to
Right.
own, to notice, to observe, to witness, that I crave something more exciting than
Right.
doing this thing
Right.
over and over and over. And meditation itself is a grind. In that way, meditation itself is, you just can't be any more grindy than just sitting and watching.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Right.
really on one level forcing myself to sit and watch and sit and wait, and it feels, and why this came up was it's been a while, it's been a while since I had some kind of exciting breakthrough, and I was wondering, do you just build up your tolerance, and then like in the beginning of anything, weight loss, the first 40% is quick and then the rest of it goes slower, right? Like
Yeah, right. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
easy to get low-lying fruit. There's low-lying fruit in almost any endeavor. Quick
Mm,
results happen.
yeah.
And then the rest of it's a grind.
Mm, mm.
And I got really disappointed in that. Like, it's my best month, not ever. Well, maybe even ever. And no, it's not ever, but still, it's a really, really good month. And then,
Yeah.
but where's my next one?
Uh-huh.
And it's got to be higher. It's got to be more. And that right there is
Mm, mhm.
some, that's where in order to creeps back in to become a detriment, a limiter.
Yeah. Wow. Huh. I feel like that's in some ways this is the we've been calling it the utility of in order to, but I think you could borrow that for the utility of meditation is really like um making that boringness, being mindful about it gives you an opportunity to have the experience not be boring, that the grind doesn't need to be boring, that the mundaneosity doesn't need to be mundane. If you're in a space of because I just think of like Esther Hicks, who's going to walk a trail and she's going to say, "You're my favorite tree, and you're my favorite flower, and you're my favorite." Like you're just walking, but in the middle of walking, you're being mindful of the things that bring you joy. But if you're not mindful of it, then you can't see it. So you're just going like, "Where's the cool tree? Where's the big tree? These trees are stupid. I've seen these trees so many days," and you can't be present to the magic that's all around you. You
That's
know.
really fucking good, Chris. That's really, really useful for me because I really have been getting myself into some, not, all right. So I've been noticing that it's not a downward spiral, but it's that
Sure.
space of, it's not, it's not going up anymore.
Uh,
And, um, the disappointment, like, oh, why isn't it going up? Where's my next breakthrough? Where's my next, and that space is counter gratitude. I mean, really, if we
right.
just go back to living a grateful life, my sort
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
foundational flag, my brand, um,
Your platform.
my platform,
Yeah.
um, that space is what takes me out of living gratefully, is being dissatisfied with
Mm.
the moment. It's very anti-Dainu.
Right. Right.
It's the
Right.
anti-Dainu platform right there, right? Like I haven't, and I just noticed that I was getting disappointed or, yeah, like
Mm.
allowing myself to be disappointed. Let me just see what that sounds like
Mm.
outside my head. Yeah, I think that's right. I think allowing myself, because I think it takes a certain amount of concentration and commitment or willingness to grind. Like, I don't think there's an escape from the grind.
Mm.
I think
Mm.
because life
Huh.
itself, we talked about this too. Life itself it's the definition of mundane. I mean, it's right. Isn't that what mundane is? Everyday life. Isn't that the?
Yeah, I suppose.
I mean, let's look it up. Let's see what our friend at the Google machine defines mundane.
Yeah.
Define mundane: lacking interest or excitement, dull, of this earthly world rather than a heavenly or spiritual one.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Huh.
Common, ordinary. All right. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, it's interesting. It's really good, Chris. This is really good. Common and ordinary, and then banal and unimaginative.
Mm.
And it's contrasted to heavenly, worldly. Um, so it means of this world versus heavenly, but
Yeah.
it also is banal, unimaginative. And I think that's a really interesting. See, I think we could separate mundane. That there's nothing. I mean, on one hand, we could say that there is an. I don't know if it's the point of meditation, but an outcome of meditation is that
Mm.
the mundane becomes spiritual. I mean, that the earthly becomes spirit. The
Sure.
line between the two is faded, which we've talked about in terms of thinning the veil. But is that the
Yeah.
veil that's getting thin? Is the connection between earthly and spiritual? That there's nothing unimaginative about common objects, ordinary objects. There's nothing unimaginative about grass.
There, you mean it is unimaginative? Grass is unimaginative?
No, there's nothing unimaginative about a blade
Uh,
of grass. There's nothing. It's it's a fucking miracle.
yeah. Right.
I mean, but that goes back to I had this insight 22 years ago when my daughter
Mm.
was born.
Mm.
That there's nobody. You've seen the birth of your kids, right?
Yeah.
There's nobody who's watched the birth of a child and thought anything less than that's a miracle, right?
Right.
Okay, I mean, it's
Yeah.
possible they didn't have that thought, but really not many. And certainly, no one I know ever saw the birth of their child and thought anything less than that. They just witnessed a
Mm.
miracle, and it was hands down a miracle. And there's no way
Yeah.
to really, if you think, even on a surface level, that there was an egg and a sperm, and they just divided and turned into a human being, and it lived inside this person, and then all of a sudden it comes. I mean, just the whole thing is
Right. Right. Right.
fucking untouchable miracle. And in just holding my daughter, it occurred to me like, okay, this obviously is a miracle. At the same time, I don't know anyone who wasn't born.
Right. 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 Right.
This is literally the most common thing that there could be.
Sure.
It's the
We all have that in common.
could not be a more common thing than being born.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Undoubtedly a miracle, the most common thing.
Mm. Yeah.
So it's all fucking
Yeah.
miracle. So I'm really delighted you brought up the Esther Hicks, because I hadn't even, because that just made the leap to gratitude, the leap to,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
what do you mean? Where's my next base jump coming from? Where's my next adrenaline high coming from? It's coming from my cup of coffee that I'm going to make. It's going to come from, the fact that I get to
Yeah.
turn on my smoker in a little bit and,
Right. Right.
get that chicken gut. Like, it's going to come because I'm going to bring it, not because it's going
Yeah.
to be there to overwhelm me.
What's the specific kind of meditation where you start to think about all the, like if I think about your cup of coffee and the farmers who grew the beans and the people who roasted the beans, that like you think about how many hands, how much went into that cup of coffee. That I remember you giving that in the 9-week
Yeah, it's actually
course.
It's this week in the
Oh, nice.
yeah.
What's it called? Is there a name for that kind of
Well,
meditation?
Cascading, just
Okay.
cascading. The web of gratitude, cascading
Yeah.
gratitude. The chapter in the book is called "Ripple in Still Water" because let's
Nice.
talk about the Grateful Dead as much as we can.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's the idea. There is,
Yeah.
yeah, that you may not be grateful for everything, but if you're grateful for anything,
Yeah.
there's an infinite number of things behind that you're grateful for.
Yeah.
You don't,
Right.
you're not,
Right. Right.
so
Reminds me of Brother Lawrence. I think we've talked about this too, but the washing the dishes and just being grateful in the mundane tasks to be
yes,
able to wash dishes and yet be meditative or mindful as you do something mundane.
yeah,
That type of a cascading web of gratitude is a great way to approach that, I think, for me anyway.
That's great. And I really, so the things that you gave me, Chris, about this is just the Esther Hicks perspective of, oh, you're
Uh-huh.
my favorite tree. Not waiting for
Yeah.
where's the cool tree, because
Where's the cool tree?
that's completely where I've been. I'm waiting for the
Yeah,
cool thing
yeah,
to show up, not
yeah.
loving the, you know, this
That's so
moment
funny.
for this moment.
Right.
And then that's what being mindful is. It's slowing down enough to
Mhm.
see the world in a grain of sand, to see the universe in a grain of sand, to be grateful for the
Yeah.
web of everything behind the fact that you and I are talking on Zoom every week. You know, like the whole
Yeah.
thing is a fucking miracle. We're walking
Yeah.
miracles. And that
Yeah.
I the way I put it for me is that I would allow myself to be present to anything less
Mm,
is lazy thinking.
mm.
It's just laziness on my part. I'm waiting, it's a very,
Mm.
here I am now, entertain me
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
relationship to life versus, you know, and that work of maintaining being mindful and maintaining you're my favorite tree and you're uh, in a in an experiential way could be show up as a grind.
Mm, mhm. Right. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, man. I love one of the thoughts that was there for me was when you talk about meditation and standing behind the waterfall and being able to see your thoughts. Like you don't attach to any one thought. You just were watching the thoughts. You're like, oh, there's one. Ah, and then there's the next one, and then there's the next one, and you're just but I don't I almost wonder if well, I'll say it this way, like the way to level that up is uh you get to watch your thoughts so you can pick the ones you want to engage with rather
Right.
than only getting so the thought that came was like, where's my next breakthrough, where's my next inspiration, and you attach to that one. But if you got mindful and you meditated and you let the thoughts go, you'd be like, no, the one I want to engage with is, oh, that one over there, that's my favorite tree, or I'm making 1,000 tacos this week, or uh, miracles of friendship. I don't know, whatever. But if you're a CEO and you're trying to build your cathedral, and you're trying to do something that feels important to you, your ability to pick the thought is going to impact whether this feels boring or common or mundane, or it feels like you're in some flow.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's a really interesting way to, I think it's a really important way to look at it is that, um, being sensitive to the other thing that meditation provides is that space of where you can be sensitive to, okay, this is feeling like a grind.
Uh-huh. Yeah, right.
Most of this, it feels normal. No, this is, and just from the Esther Hicks perspective, okay, well, it's
Mm,
feeling like a grind.
right.
That's what you're getting versus,
Yeah.
okay, this now feels like,
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
opportunity and you can alter how you feel about it by just getting
Yeah.
a better feeling thought. Like, what's a better feeling thought in the mix there that you can get? And can
Yeah.
you attach to the appreciation of that moment and that moment and that moment? And then that'll put you on an upward spiral. And that's,
Yeah.
you know, get yourself back tapped in
Mm, mm,
and keep the space clean.
mhm,
Cleaning your house
mm.
is a never ending grind,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Good point.
You know,
Yeah.
brushing your teeth,
Uh-huh.
never ending.
Right.
Do it twice a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
That's good.
And having the intention to clean, to leave things clean. It's funny because when I used to failed to do this with my children, but I did do it with my employees,
Mm,
mainly because I paid my employees to get this, or they didn't get paid anymore. But
yeah.
when you mop at the end of a shift,
Uh-huh.
you either mop to mop or you mop to get the place clean. There's just two different ways to mop at the end of a
Uh-huh.
shift.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the person coming in the morning is going to know which way you mop.
Right. You push the dirt around.
I mean, you either mop because you needed to say you mopped, or you mop
Uh,
because you wanted to get it clean, and those are two different fucking things.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I assume my children will have that at some point, but they certainly don't have it with me.
Mm,
Um, but that's the, that's the power of intention is, then we meditate with the intention of noticing everything that's there, including what's in the corners, right? And this
uh,
little thing that I've had about this level of dissatisfaction with my level of inspiration and my level of, where's my next breakthrough? And I need the next high, and I need the next fucking victory, and I need what's happening. Where is that? How's that going? Like, okay, no, slow the fuck down. You're meditating every day and you're doing the work, and this is
mm,
what it looks like, and what is there to be grateful for in this moment. And to some days there'll be maybe more to clean than others. Some days the dog brings in more some
yeah.
days the cat brings in a bird, and that's got to go.
Yeah, yeah.
Some days the cat throws up a bird. Such a fucking pleasure.
Thank you for the gift.
Yeah,
Oh man.
right. Anyway, I think that's a
Yeah,
really useful. I think that's the conversation tomorrow for sure in the mastermind. I
yeah,
want to hear where people are at with that, like the grind of something, and like the opportunity is to breathe life back into that which has turned
yeah.
into a grind,
Mm,
without layering icing on dog shit.
yeah.
Again, that's another pitfall to
Mm,
watch, is that you're just putting a happy face on some bullshit work that you're doing.
yeah.
You can't,
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Right. Because
you're,
then you're just back to stealing fire. Then you're back to like you're putting a smile on it, but it doesn't feel any different. So then you're trying to get to your altered states. You're trying to whatever that whatever your pleasure is to do that, whether it's extreme sports or
right.
substances or sabotaging your business or your relationships to blow them up so you can have some, jolt to whatever, pick your flavor. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's good, man. I like that.
All right, good. All right. Well, if there, for anyone listening, we'd love to hear any thoughts you have about all this. So, in addition to reviewing us and sharing this, reach out. We'd love to hear from you about,
Yeah.
you know, what it is that you
Yeah.
uh, deal with in terms of this
Yeah.
wrestling with the grind versus inspiration.
Yep. One of the places you could do that is on our website. You can go to themindfulceo.com/contact. There's a place there to just to fill, just send us a message. We'd love to hear
Yeah.
from you. If you have ideas also for the show, you're like, hey, I've been really wrestling with this, or I have this thought that I'm trying to reconcile. Why don't you guys take the purple crayon for a walk and give us some ideas of things you'd like us to explore? Then I
Love to.
guess finally, Aaron, if those of you listening want to jump into the next 9-week living a grateful life in a fucked up world, you should do that. It's free, and it's the precursor to being in the mastermind. So if you'd like to be in the mastermind, you got to go through the 9-week course first.
And it's
Aaron,
free.
they can, yeah,
And it starts on September 3rd. Um, yeah.
and you can go to thegratefulbreath.com. I'll put all the links for things in the show notes. So you guys just jump down in the show notes there.
Great. See you
Okay.
then.
All right, peace, people, peace out. Bye.